Starting us off for this final session on privacy perceptions, we have Noé Zufferey from University of Lausanne. He just defended on Monday, so yay for him. And he is looking for postdoc positions starting in October.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction. I'm Noé Zufferey from the University of Lausanne, and I will present you my paper about users' behavior toward fitness data sharing with third-party applications. So, wearable activity trackers are more and more used, and those devices collect a lot of personal, physiological, and contextual data. And there is multiple types of wearable devices, but in that specific work, I will focus on the most common ones, that is those that look like a watch and are wrist-worn. Like, for example, Fitbit, Apple Watches, or Garmin. So despite the fact that wearable activity trackers provide their users with a lot of interesting functionalities, it may raise multiple privacy issues. For example, an employer may provide their employees with wearable activity trackers to monitor them. Or a public authority might want to get access to citizens' data, maybe for good reason, like to stop criminals, but still. In that case, it's like a minority report scenario. Or, again, health insurance companies might want to access more health data of their clients. And except for the service provider, as Fitbit or Garmin, for which it's kind of part of the contract that the user has to share their data with, there is multiple ways for an adversary to get wearable activity trackers data. One of the simplest ways is to simply get it from the user, as they have a lot of possibility to share their data. One of these possibilities is to share their data on their public profiles. For example, on the Fitbit community platform. Another way to share the data is with other users, like family or friends. And a third one is to share their data with third-party applications. Basically, a user may want to share their data with a third-party application. For example, if they want to enjoy new functionality that are not necessarily provided by the first service provider, like Fitbit or Garmin. But it could be also because it has like financial rewards. For example, there is apps that get money to users regarding the number of steps they take every day, and sometimes in the form of cryptocurrencies. So, as public profiles do not display a lot of sensitive information, and as friends and family are less likely to conduct an attack on users' privacy, I will focus here on data sharing with third-party applications. So the point here is that it is important to analyze what is the user data sharing behavior toward third-party application to better understand if this behavior is compatible with a privacy-related usage of the device. I so decided to conduct a survey study to basically ask wearable activity tracker users what is their behavior toward data sharing. So we did it with Prolific. We first selected respondents who were Apple, Fitbit, or Garmin users, and indeed share their data with third-party applications. These respondents had to answer questions about their behavior, their knowledge, and their likelihood to use some privacy-enhancing technology to help them better manage their data sharing. Regarding the screener survey, more than 2,000 wearable activity trackers users answered it, and 70% of them declared using a third-party application. Among those 70%, more than 600 answered the main survey, and we had like half of them who were Apple users, almost a bit more than 1/3 of them Fitbit users, and the rest of them Garmin users. So one of the most important questions that we asked them was basically, how many third-party applications do you share your data with? But as the idea was to compare their belief with their real behavior, we asked them twice. The first time by asking them to answer the question off the top of their head, and the second time by asking them after checking in their settings. And to ensure the correctness of the answer of the second question, we provided them with some screenshots and precise instructions. So they just had to count how many lies there was under the data sharing with TPA stuff in their settings. Here, we display the number of users regarding the difference between the number of third-party applications they really have and the ones they think they have. As we can see, half of them think they have less third-party applications than they really do. So that basically means that half of the users share their data without even knowing it. Here, we ask them if they are indeed using all the TPA, the third-party application they are sharing their data with. And we found out that only 63% of the users do not use all the third-party applications they share their data with. So only 37% of them use all the third-party applications they have. So that means that not only they share without knowing it, but they share for nothing because they don't even use the application they share their data with. Another thing we did is that we evaluated their knowledge of the data sharing ecosystem. So the numbers here represent the percentage of users who were right answering a question. And the question we asked them was simply, we displayed them some statements, and they had to guess if that statement was true or false. So the first one that is very interesting here is about when a user wants to share their data with a third-party app, they have to share with them a token that allows the third-party app to access that given type of data. For example, as a user, you may want to share your step, not your heart rate, not your sleep data, only your steps. So you say to your service provider, give a token to that third-party application, I want to share my step with that third-party application. But if you do that, you will share all the steps that has been collected since you started using the device. It's not possible, for example, to share your steps between September and October 2023. And basically, that point was not clear for 2/3 of the users who think that they only share the data that they have been collected since the moment they granted access. So they probably share a lot of data without knowing it. Same here, but less severe. 62% of the users think that when they revoke the access, the third-party application will still have access to the data collected in the past, which is not the case unless they save it on their own server. So about evaluating the knowledge of wearable activity tracker users, we did another thing, which is analyzing their mental model. So a mental model is basically the way someone represents the ecosystem they evolve within. And here, we basically ask the respondents to draw how they represent themselves, how their data is shared through the through the wearable activity trackers ecosystem. So here I displayed like kind of the grand truth, and here's some example of drawing we collected. We had like more than 100 of them, and then we analyzed them and classify them as correct, incomplete, or incorrect. And we found out that more than half of them were incorrect. So that means that more than half of the wearable activity tracker users do not really understand how their data sharing is working. Finally, another thing we evaluated is their likelihood to use privacy-enhancing technologies to help them better manage their data sharing. The first solution we proposed is spatial granularity. Basically, it's rounding the numbers you want to share. For example, instead of sharing that you've taken 3,223 steps, you only share 3,000. Another one is temporal granularity. Basically, it's aggregating the data by minutes, hours, days, or even more. And the third one is a reminder. So the idea here is to periodically ask the user to check the access they granted in the past. So here the answer of the user when we ask them if they think they are likely to use those 3 pets, and we can see that most of the pets are kind of likely adopted, but the reminder one is the one that is most likely to be accepted. Okay, so here's some key findings to finish that presentation. 70% of wearable activity trackers users share their data with third-party applications. Most users underestimate their number of third-party applications, and users lack knowledge about the data sharing ecosystem. But they are inclined to use privacy-enhancing technology to help them better manage their data sharing. So as a future work, I would propose that it could be interesting to develop more privacy-enhancing technologies to help users in the data sharing process. So thanks for watching this presentation.
All right, thank you, Noé, for your talk. I'm not seeing any questions posted yet on Zulip, so I'm just going to ask one first, and because you did not get on Zulip, you get to wait until someone brings you the mic. I just was hoping you could clarify, you mentioned with the drawings that the mental models were incorrect. Could you explain a bit in what ways they tended to be incorrect?
Okay, it depends of the drawing, but basically, as you can see here, a lot of drawings have like parts of the ecosystem, and there is arrows to show where the data goes, okay? Basically, one example of incorrect model will be an arrows in the wrong order, or an arrows from one part to another part where the data are not really transmitted.
All right, thank you. All right. Use the mic, please.
Thank you. I think it's really interesting that most of these, drawings, maybe the 96 other drawings don't include them, but the ones that you show, it often includes like antennas and like basically ISPs for all of this, while in your ground truth model, you don't consider this, I mean, you only consider the data controller sort of as the third party, and this would be even more drastic of a view if you also included all the ISPs, sub-processors, processors, etc. So really interesting. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So that was not a question.
How about we, if there's no question.
It's not a problem.
Do you think that for future work you should also include ISPs, antenna,
It depends. I'm not really sure how it would help us to understand like how the understanding of the users toward what you said will like be harmful to them and their privacy. I'm not sure it's something essential to understand for the users. At least what is essential to understand for them is where the data go basically. If I want to share my data, where it will be sent and so on. That's the main thing to learn as a user, I guess.
All right, and because I think this is a small question and came in on Zulip,
Okay.
Could you further explain the evaluation process of the drawings in your user study, e.g. the number of researchers involved?
Okay, so we were 2. My co-author, Kavus, did a great part of the job. Basically, we proceeded to coding. So we watched all the designs and then classify them and so on. The idea is to take some annotations for every design in order to be able to classify them well. And basically, what we proceed is one of them did that, and the other one checked it afterwards and corrected a bit if necessary.
All right, thank you. So we're coming up on time for this, so let's thank Zoe again.
Thank you.